This is an open meeting. Calling this meeting to order Monday, February 10th at 6 p.m. Crosby, please do roll call.
Jason?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Dale?
Here.
Carolyn?
Here.
Craig?
Here.
Jim?
Here.
Crosby here.
This is an open meeting and has been posted. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to first welcome our new school board member, Jim Olson. He is taking over the vacated seat by Gail Asage. He will serve in that seat until April of 2026. Okay, first we have recognitions. Welcome.
This evening, we get to honor Mr. Dave Wojciechowski. His nominators said, I am thrilled to nominate Dave as our Employee of the Month. Mr. Dave consistently goes above and beyond to ensure our school is clean, safe, and welcoming environment for students, staff, and families. His dedication is evident in every detail, from the sparkling hallways to the rapid response to unexpected messes. Dave approaches his work with a positive attitude, always greeting everyone with a smile and a kind word. Recently, Dave went the extra mile by playing his guitar and helped lead the all-school holiday sing-along. Dave is always there to manage challenging cleanup, help during an event, or assist a student or a staff member in need. These acts exemplify his commitment to our school, Rolling Hills, and the community, and his willingness to step up whenever needed. Our building manager plays a vital role in making our school a place where everyone can thrive. Recognizing his hard work and unwavering dedication is definitely necessary. Thank you, Dave, for everything you do to make Rolling Hills shine, both literally and figuratively. If you could come on up, Dave.
Do you have any comments?
Dave, do you want to do a little speech? Dave? Little speech, maybe?
Thanks for all that you do. Okay, we do not have any citizens' comments, so we are going to move on to the student report from Rolling Hills.
All right, we've got Dr. Schlicht and the team here from Rolling Hills. I think we have enough mics. If you guys could come on up.
This wouldn't be the same if I didn't say, "What up, Zoe?"
Which one of you wants to hold the clicker? Who wants to advance the slides? You got it here? All right,
No, he's at home second.
you need to go back.
He doesn't need to be on. He's good. He's not. Yeah, no, he had a meeting tonight.
These up, put them right close to your faces and speak right into them, okay? You gotta move them around,
You can even grab the mic and move it close to your mouth so we can hear you.
Talk into it like this, really, really close to your lips, okay? Because the people on TV have to hear you.
Yeah, you're YouTube stars now.
And if parents want to come up here and record, you can come up here and sit down and record if you'd like.
Do it.
Come on up. Good, you can come right up here. Come up in the middle. Okay. All right, you may begin whenever you're ready.
Hi, we are here to tell you about the amazing Rolling Hills. I am Arlo, in grade 5, one of the executive
Talk in the microphone, please.
for student council.
There you go.
I am Max, another executive board member in 5th grade.
And I am Keegan, I'm in 6th grade, an executive board member.
In Rolling Hills, our mission is to strengthen and support learning and growth for everyone through ongoing improvement.
Our vision at Rolling Hills is to achieve excellence in education, community, and personal development, paving the way for success and future opportunities.
The Raptor Way is a way to be safe, respectful, and responsible. We are safe at Rolling Hills by walking in the hallways and following the rules on the play structure.
We are respectful at Rolling Hills is by not talking back, raising our hand when a question occurs. We are also respectful by letting our classmates talk and not interrupting.
We are responsible in Rolling Hills by not kicking balls on the building or at the building.
This is our behavior matrix for the entire school. So it's in every classroom. And this is a classroom behavior matrix that each class makes at the beginning of the year.
Hi, I'm Liv in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Eva, also in 5th grade.
We are here to tell you about our PBIS.
This stands for Positive Behavioral Intervention System. Hey, I only need one more work card to get lunch with Miss Barton. How can I get that?
Well, you have to follow the Raptor Way, of course.
What's that?
Well, you have to be safe, responsible, and respectful.
Okay, thanks. Hey, you dropped your pencil.
Oh, thank you. Here's a work card for following the Raptor Way.
Thank you. I'm so happy I followed the Raptor Way.
We also do a trimester reward. Each trimester, we get a reward.
Such as carnivals, switching classrooms, writing cards, and more. At the end of each year, we have our assembly,
where your class can win golden awards such as art, gym, library, or music.
How you get it is being responsible, respectful, and safe.
And this year, we even added the golden dustpan because a student wrote a persuasive essay about it.
This is what they look like. Our school also does a raffle box.
Well, what's that?
Well, you can put your row cards in it and see if you win the mystery prize.
Well, I guess I have to put my row cards in it.
Hi, I'm Olivia, an executive board member from 6th grade, and I am excited to share with you about Raptor News. At Rolling Hills, every month we have a Raptor News. The 6th grade reporters talk about what's happening at Rolling Hills during the month. I am also a Raptor reporter. Raptor News is important to students at Rolling Hills because it tells students what is going on. It also gives 6th graders a public speaking opportunity. I've been Raptor reporter A and B, and my favorite one was A because I got to say a joke. Why did the golfer bring an extra pair of pants? In case he got a hole in one. Ha ha ha. That's a knee slapper.
Hello, I am Zoe from 5th grade.
And I am Jossie, also from 5th grade.
And we are Student Council Executive Board members. We are here to tell you about Student Council at Rolling Hills.
And what we do. First of all, we do Adopt a Family. This takes place in December.
During this event, we raise money so that we can go to Target and buy Christmas gifts for kids who are less fortunate than others.
And don't worry, we give all the students of Rolling Hills a special reward if we raise a certain amount of money.
This may include
dressing up Dr. Slicks like a Christmas tree,
or dyeing his hair pink.
With sparkles, of course. Another fun activity we do is STEM challenges at Fall Fest.
Please enjoy our mini play of one of our fun activities.
The gummy bear taste testing.
Ooh, gummy bears.
Hello, would you like to do the gummy bear taste testing?
What's that?
Well, it's where you taste a gummy bear and fill out a slip on whether it's sweet, sour, chewy, or fruity. You also say what color it is.
Ooh, let me try. Oh, that's yummy.
As we do our next part of our presentation, please fill out the slip and think about what flavor your gummy bear is.
We also do Feed the Dream food drive.
This is where the students of Rolling Hills donate many food items for the food pantry
in Mukwonago, based on what foods they are lacking.
We also do Spirit Days.
My favorite is PJ Day.
And mine is Show Your Love Day.
And we also do something called Show Your Kindness Week. This is where each day of a picked week, we do one thing to show kindness.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Max again, and I'm going to tell you about Roar Coaches. Roar Coaches play with younger kids and recess monitors. Roar Coaches are the problem solvers at recess. Roar Coaches help put out the equipment in the morning and in the afternoon. One of my favorite games to play is back-to-back tag.
Hi, I'm Arlo again. Having a buddy classroom is a chance for older kids to be a buddy to a student who is younger than them. We do activities like reading, arts, and crafts. We also walk the turkey trot together. One of my favorite things to do as an older buddy is walking with my buddy on the turkey trot and getting to know them.
Hi, I'm Keegan again. Study Club is an after-school activity for students who need extra help on their homework. Teachers are also there to help them if they need any questions on the assignment or homework.
Thank you for letting us tell you about the amazing Rolling Hills. Please join us in our Wrapped Away chant. Repeat after me. I am responsible in all I do.
I am responsible in all I do.
I respect myself and others too.
I
Respect myself and others too.
I stay safe each and every day
I stay safe each and every day
because I follow the Raptor way.
Because I follow the Raptor way.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Students, can you come up here, please? Hold on, students. The school board's got a little treat for you guys. What an amazing job.
Good job.
Good job, you guys.
You guys nervous at all? Nah, a little bit. It was pretty fun though, wasn't it? Okay, there you have it.
You all nailed it. Good
You're
job.
welcome.
Well done.
Right? You should.
I just want to say what an amazing class and school it is. I had a chance to go to Biztown with these girls and boys, and when I was leaving there, I got pulled aside by the people that run Biztown, and they told me this is the first time they never had to help students with everything they had to do for the day. CEO Eva did a great job, and I just want to say congrats to all of you for doing a great job. So thank you. Okay, up next we have presentations of Rolling Hills Elementary School.
Dr. Schlicht, come
Dr.
up.
Schlicht.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to do my presentation from here because my old eyes can't see that far to the screen. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about Rolling Hills. The kids already mentioned our mission and our vision. The staff and I spent some time this past summer revising our mission and vision to talk about specifically what we want and what we envisioned Rolling Hills going into the future. And so we want to focus.
One second. Tom, is this mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Am I talking loud enough?
I just can't hear any speakers. Thank
Just
you.
hold this one like Bob Barker.
Turn this off.
Yep.
Turn this on. All right.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Bob Barker. So we want to focus on strengthening and supporting learning and growth for everyone through ongoing improvement. And our vision is to achieve excellence in education, community, and personal development, paving the way for success in future opportunities. And so I do want to congratulate the kids and Mrs. Barton for her guidance in putting together a fantastic presentation to give you an idea of a little bit of what Rolling Hills is about. We have two goals this year. One is an academic goal and one is a behavior goal. Our academic goal is by the end of the 24-25 school year, 90% of Rolling Hills students in grades 1 through 6 will achieve college pathway or low risk as measured by our FastBridge reading and math assessments. It's related to the district strategic plan goal, where we want to achieve a top 10% position in the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction district report cards, and then each individual school also achieving a top 10% position on the school report card. And so our rationale focuses on report card data. When we look at our most recent report card for Rolling Hills, our achievement score was the same or better than 95.2% of other elementary schools in the state. And for students on track to graduate, we were the same or better than 98.5% of other elementary schools in the state. And to exceed the district average in proficiency levels, to exceed our Rolling Hills results of 85.6% in ELA and 87% in math, we wanted to create a little bit of a stretch goal, and so that's why we decided on 90% of our students. And then also to implement a guaranteed and viable curriculum so all students can be successful. So some of the action steps that we're doing at Rolling Hills to support this goal is reviewing and analyzing the standards where we met fewer than 50% proficiency on the forward exam last year. And then each individual grade level, 3rd through 6th grade, is writing action steps to address those missed standards so that students will meet those standards this year on the 24-25 assessment. Coming up this week, actually, on February 13th, teachers will be graphing their growth versus achievement data based on their FastBridge A reading and A math scores. This is something we've done for the last 2 years at Rolling Hills, and it's something that teachers really look forward to because we classify students as high achieving, high growth, high achieving, low growth, low achieving, low growth, and low achieving, high growth, and we divide it into 4 quadrants. And it really opens their eyes as to what students need and where students are. And we want to continue to focus on growth for all. And so it opens up the door for some good conversations and good plans moving forward. Our PLT teams collaborate with each other on what proficiency looks like. That's one of the things that we noticed this year when our PLTs met, was that there was difficulty when comparing assessments. There was a discrepancy in what teachers in the same grade level even thought what proficiency looked like. And so we had to have a discussion about that amongst grade levels so that we're all on the same page and that we can all make kids achieve the same level no matter which teacher they have. We also are learning to implement and refine the PLC process together for year 2, and our grade level teams are evaluating their current practices during win time, which is what I need to help move and change kids with their interventions, whether it's remedial or enrichment. So how are we doing so far? Bottom line, in ELA, currently 82.5% of our students are achieving college pathway or low risk based on our winter data. So that means to our goal, we've got 7.5% left. And when we break that down even further and talk about specific students, we're 26 students away from 5 grade levels meeting our 90% goal. as of winter. In math, we're currently at 87.9% of our students achieving college pathway or low risk, so we only have about 2% left to go, which is 8 students across 6 grade levels to get to our goal. So we are well on our way achieving our 90% goal across the board for Rolling Hills and continuous improvement. Our second goal is behavioral. If all of our students at Rolling Hills are provided high quality evidence-based instruction on building etiquette through the Raptor Way program, then all Rolling Hills students will demonstrate proactive regulation strategies, resulting in the reduction of total behavior incidents in the building compared to the 23-24 school year by the end of this school year. And so that's related to the district's strategic plan goal of supporting and enhancing students' social and emotional growth. So when we look back at some historical data for Rolling Hills, back in the 21-22 school year, we had 68 physical altercations. In the 22-23 school year, we had 27 physical altercations, which was a 60% reduction in physically aggressive behavior. So we were doing really well with reducing physical behavior. So we decided to look at all possible major disciplinary issues, such as theft, bullying, harassment, inappropriate behavior, vandalism, and so forth. So when we looked at the 23-24 school year last year, we had 64 major events, which included physical altercation and all of those other classifications. So some of the things we're doing to support that goal: each PLT will take a proactive approach in addressing student behaviors and setting expectations, reteaching opportunities, reevaluating our school-wide behavior matrix, which you heard our students talk about, bringing that into more accessible for kids so they understand what our expectations are. For example, and making sure our expectations weren't too high. For example, when we had it originally written, when the original matrix was written, we had a level 0 in the bathroom. Well, that seems unattainable because even adults, when they're in their bathroom, will say hi or how are you doing, how's your day? And so we didn't want to set expectations higher than what we would in a normal societal expectations. So we went through and redid some of our expectations. We also create monthly trimester recognitions for students. We created bus driver incentives, so our bus drivers also have ROAR cards, and when kids earn ROAR cards from bus drivers, they're actually worth double. And so kids' behavior on the bus has gotten better because bus drivers are part of the plan and part of the solution to that. So it also lists some of our celebrations that we've done to incentivize kids' behavior. 5th and 6th grade kickball game, popcorn and technology party, movie and hot cocoa, ice cream sundae bar. And these are just a variety of some things that we've done for kids to show our appreciation for them rising to the occasion. So how are we doing so far in this goal? Like I had said, we had 64 events in the 23-24 school year. We are currently at 16 major events in the 24-25 school year. So last year at this time, we had 21 major events. We're at 16 right now. So that, again, is a reduction in those behaviors. This slide is probably one of my favorites because it talks about where we are in comparison to the district's strategic plan. So when you look at the district's #1 goal, Mukwonago Area School District will achieve a top 10% position on the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction district report card, and each school achieving a top 10% on the school report cards. When you look at where Rolling Hills is that middle column in green. So when you look at the district, we want our benchmark to be 8 schools significantly exceeding expectations. Rolling Hills is already significantly exceeding expectations. We're one of the 7 currently at that level. When you look at the Wisconsin Forward Exam English Language Arts percent meeting proficiency in 3rd grade, the current district, current state of the district is 65.4. The district's goal is 70. Rolling Hills is already at 76.2. When you look at the Forward Exam English Language Arts score below basic, The district is currently at 6.3%. The goal for the district is 4. Rolling Hills is at 0, below proficient. When we look at the math percent meeting proficiency, the district is currently at 71.5%. The benchmark is 75. Rolling Hills is at 85.6. And as you go through here and look at all the other scores, when you look at how Rolling Hills compares to all the other elementary schools in the state, we finished 12th in the state compared to all other elementary schools. And again, I have to give recognition to our staff, our students, and our parents, because truly they are all working together to make sure we are exceeding expectations. So I just need to thank everybody who's involved in that. So that's Rolling Hills.
It's great to see you, Dr. Schlicht. Congrats.
Good job. I had grape. It was chewy and fruity.
I'll mark that down.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Carolyn?
Is this one of our last presentations that we have?
This is the last school.
Are we, as principals, getting together and sharing this? Because each principal, there's been like the overlapping themes, but they're so wonderful. And I would love to see our other elementary schools benefiting from this, because there's so many wow takeaway things. I'm like, hope Big Bend is here, you know, all the different schools doing this.
Yeah, so we are actually at our all admin meeting in February. We have been collaborating the principals together. They've been working together to share what they were working on. And then I think it's this Thursday, actually, we get together and we have an activity plan for them to be able to share the work that they're doing and really dig into each other's goals to see if there's something that might be helpful for them to replicate in their building.
Awesome.
And the elementary principals work very closely with each other. We are each other's cheerleaders. We meet every month, and we talk about, we have an agenda, and we talk about where we currently are and how we're doing and how we're doing it, and how we're being successful, and we share a lot. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. This is great.
Any other questions? Just want to say I'm in Rolling Hills a lot, as you know.
Yeah.
I just love seeing the collaboration with the teachers, their passion. Sometimes when I'd volunteer, I'd go there on a Saturday morning. I would think the janitor left the lights on, but no, it's teachers working Saturday morning. It's great to see their passion and how well they work together. So congrats.
And I would also like to invite any new board members who'd like to come for a tour of Rolling Hills to just contact myself or Allie and set up a tour, and I'd be happy to give you a tour and take you around. Any board members, not necessarily just new ones.
You'll be hearing from me.
Excellent. Very good.
My son, we moved here from Racine County 15 years ago, and it was a very welcome change. Taking my son to Rolling Hills. He finished elementary there, and
excellent.
Love to see it on the other side of the aisle now as a board member.
Right. So. Very good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Schlicht.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, up next, Aspire presentation.
Yeah, so tonight we have our Aspire program here from the high school. They are our 18 and beyond program. They're here to share a lot of what they do during the day and a lot of time that they are out in the community. So actually, as they're getting situated, you got an email today also in your inbox about from Jubilee Christian School, where they spend some time. They'll talk about that tonight, but a very, very kind and thankful email regarding the work you guys do there. So thank you guys for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Sorry, but you have to share with me.
Should I?
Oh, great.
I think we're gonna. Hi, my name is Heather Kane.
Heather, you have to talk in the microphone, please.
I'm gonna need my own then.
Have your own.
Oh,
All right, my name is Heather Kane Terhorst. I am the lead teacher of our Aspire for Independence 18 and Beyond program at Mukwonago High School. I brought along a few of my young adults, so you can introduce yourselves.
I am Ryan.
And I'm Andrew.
Talk in the microphone, bud.
And I'm Andrew.
B.
Where?
Oh, gosh. B.
practice at home, or not at home, at school today, but
Yeah.
we didn't have microphones then.
Yeah.
So.
No, no home.
You're right.
Drive home.
We're there enough. We're a family, right,
Yeah.
Bree?
Yeah.
All right, so our roadmap for success tonight, I'm going to share with you a little history about the Aspire program. Community connections, what we do, where it all happens, including some friends that I brought along. Some data, which is the importance of students, staff, and transportation to make this possible, and then open it up for questions. So, Aspire for Independence 18 Beyond began at MHS in the fall of 2020 in room 124. As the student population grew, the larger numbers at the end of the 2024 school year, a second teacher, myself, and my classroom, room 111, were added to accommodate our growing population. Aspire is designed to help students who receive special education services at MHS who are in need of gaining additional skills to be ready for the next chapter after high school. Often these are students with more significant needs. They require additional support to gain skills needed for employment within the community setting. We're always working to be life ready, college ready, and career ready. Joe to Go is our student-run coffee shop that's open most Thursday mornings at MHS. In December, we celebrated our 16th year in business. So my first year at MHS, I began Joe to Go with nothing but a few borrowed basement coffee pots and an overhead cart and a dream. That dream was to have a safe and supported place for my students to learn job skills that can be transferred to the community setting. We're now using the cafe and Joe to Go space at the high school, and we've really moved up from where we started. In 2018, we finally hit our goal to raise enough money to purchase our very own 10-passenger wheelchair lift-equipped van. In 2020, we added 2 additional 10-passenger vans to allow us to be mobile. Having this mobility in our own set of vans opened the door to creating more community connections and experiences for our students. Ryan, what's something that you like about Joe to Go?
I like doing the drinks and going on deliveries.
Okay. Bree? Bree likes taking orders at the cash register. You'll see her there in the yellow in the middle. Andrew?
Right.
You can pick it up.
I like doing the test register and helping the teachers and students that all the food and drinks from the classes.
So we not only have walk-up customers that come in, as you see here, where we're practicing our skills, we also make deliveries to classrooms and working to make it accessible for everyone. We have carts as well as, you'll see Tom in the corner there and his 3-wheeled bicycle, where he can be Johnny on the spot and making deliveries in a safe way for himself. We also go out and we are shopping in the community on a regular basis. It's one of our favorite activities to do because you'll never know what you're going to find. So we shop every week for all of the MHS culinary classes, in addition to everything that we need to run Joe to Go, our business. So in addition to shopping for those school needs, these students also work on shopping for their own personal needs or for their family's needs. While we're out shopping, we're working on budgeting, inventory, stocking, money management, self-help skills, and more. We run the gamut of stores from Woodman's, Walmart, Aldi, Metro Market, Restaurant Depot, and Costco. And we've learned that different stores have different prices for different things. You'll never know what you might get as long as you ask. You can see up there the third box in. I can't really point from here. We asked for a tour, and we were able to go into the employee-only area of the store to find out what happens way behind the scenes. You see Tate in the bottom corner there. You'll check out his big smile on his face of getting the bargain bag of 6 pounds of bananas for only 99 cents. His mom wasn't quite as thrilled as he was. Yeah. And you'll see up in the upper corner there, we have Noah. The first time that I made the request at Walmart for them to not bag our groceries so that we could practice doing it ourselves, they kind of gave me a look. But now they have our own lane that they open up for us when we go and we check out so that we can work on practicing all of our money handling skills, bagging our groceries, and all those other skills necessary for life at work afterwards. Sam, she's one of our favorite Walmart checkers, said that we are now part of the Walmart Mukwonago family, and when we are not shopping, she misses us. So we've learned exactly how important it is to make those connections across the community to allow for student success. Anything you guys want to add about shopping? No? Okay. We have a lot of work that we do behind the scenes to run Joe to Go because everything is student-centered and student-focused. Ryan, can you share one of your more difficult jobs at Joe to Go?
The cash register.
The cash register. I hear that. And Andrew, is there something that's difficult for you sometimes?
Oh, yes. My difficulty at the cash register is always on how to deal with money because ever I get the money counted and dealt out to the customer, I sometimes grab a lot of them and then worried that I might get out the wrong change.
Mm-hmm. So we got to practice those skills every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything, Bree?
Hot cakes.
Doing those hot drinks, being safe and focused, right?
Yeah.
Yep, it's a little tricky because those drinks come out at 200 degrees to make our customers hot and happy. So, got to be careful with those. These are a few more of the activities that we do behind the scenes, practicing all of the different skills that are necessary for independent living, as well as running our business. We have shopping and learning to use the carts, various things that we need to get. What's Abby doing there in the corner?
Huh?
What are we doing in the corner? What do we have to do every Wednesday afternoon?
Message.
What?
Huh?
We have to make all of our treats. Yep.
Muffin. Huh?
Oh, what do you do in the mornings?
Muffin making.
Yep. Ryan is one of our chief muffin makers for our fresh baked muffins. Andrew?
Right, and we also do money counting.
Mm-hmm. So requisition of our cash drawers and making deposits is also a job of the students, and we have to make sure that we're accurate, or else accounting sends it back to us and says try again. So if you're looking at our next one, this is a job site that we have with Rustics and Knuckleheads. In October, we began working alongside with Scott and Melissa Dooley, owners of Rustics and Knuckleheads and also MHS parents. Our students have the opportunity to work in a dual environment here at this location. We volunteer there twice a week, and we work on transfer of skills from the classroom setting to the community setting, where ultimately we want our students to be employed in the long run. Students work on increasing their work stamina, honing skills, and social skills like interacting with customers, as well as completing tasks without disturbing the customers. Community employment involves more than just being able to do a task. You have to be able to do a variety of tasks, organizing, cleaning, simple food prep, and now students request to be able to work on specific tasks when we go there. Andrew, what's a task that you work on at Knuckleheads?
Sometimes the task might be for me is vacuuming, and also table cleaning and sweeping the floors, and other times is also cleaning the windows and the pictures and the glass doors.
And Andrew, how is that important for what is beginning for you next week?
And that is because I am going to be working as a resident attendant at McDonald's Culver's next week, Monday.
Yep. So Andrew will start his first job working at Mukwonago Culver's and using the skills that he's learned at Rustics and Knucklehead, as well as working in the classroom for community employment, which is always our ultimate goal.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We began our partnership with Jubilee Christian School in October of 2024. Aspire students that are interested in child development daycare have the opportunity to volunteer in the classroom as classroom helpers in the 2K, 3K, and 4K classrooms. At the Jubilee School, students in the Aspire program work to be peer models, helping and supporting the younger students in center time, recess, lunch, and preparing for nap time. As a result of these experiences, 2 students in Aspire will be trying out paid work experiences in the daycare setting in the coming weeks. Bree is hopefully one of those. Bree, what is one of the things that you love about Jubilee?
Help nap.
Yeah, Bree likes to get everybody ready for nap time because you are pretty amazing when you get nap out, right? Mm-hmm. Little kids love it. All right, and Ryan, what was an opportunity that you had while you were at Jubilee that you were brave about?
Reading a book to them.
Yep, so you can see Ryan in the bottom corner there that he took the opportunity to step up, and he was the guest reader for the day in the 4K classroom and shared a story with the students and did an amazing job. All right, and Andrew, what's something that you have that was a great memory?
Right. My favorite memory is not only to read the books to the young kids, but also helping them with cleaning up after they're done with them, and helping them make cleaning songs for them for bedtime.
So you can see Andrew in the corner there with a new friend Lucas. They had just met earlier that day but had a quick bond. On the bottom right there, we helped out in many different ways at Jubilee. One day we attended and they were 6 staff short, which is about half of their staff. Yep, and Bree and Grace and I worked on making and serving lunch to the entire school. So that is just part of the lunch that we made for that day. All right, we worked in the Mukwonago Community Library and the Metaspace 511. So each week, Aspire students utilize the Mukwonago Public Library to check out reading materials, movies, books, and more. We've done a number of different activities working in the Metaspace, and wonderful Miss Nancy there and all the opportunities that she provides for us. Ryan, what is one of the things that we did in the Metaspace you want to talk about?
The ornaments.
Okay. Want to say anything more?
The blankets.
Okay. So on the bottom, you'll see a young man standing by the Christmas tree. We partnershiped with Your Personal Gardener and used their Christmas backdrop, and we took pictures there. And then each of the students went and worked with Miss Nancy, and we did sublimation ornaments. I knew nothing about what sublimation meant until Miss Nancy educated me. So we made ornaments as gifts for our families. Ryan also mentioned something about a blanket. Andrew, you want to share anything more about the blanket?
Yes. Our blankets that we make with Miss Nancy is for the community and for the family to have when it's the holidays.
Which holiday do we do it for?
In this case, this holiday we did it for, let's say, Christmas?
It was Christmas. Yep. So you'll see on the bottom there, we used the laser engraver at the library, who knew that you could laser engrave fabric. And we created designs onto blankets that the students picked out and purchased themselves, and then worked as a team to create tie blankets that they gave to gifts to their families. Bree, what else is up there? One of your favorites is?
Group picture.
The group picture. And we have what?
Shirt.
We have shirts. So we did screen printing of spooky shirts, and everybody got to wear their shirts on one of the days so that we were showing off the designs that we created. This we had a group go. We're getting a little late here, so we'll move along. We had a group go at Eagleville and help out at Eagleville. They participated and supported the special person lunch, as well as helping out with the book fair. Another piece that we also did with Eagleville that day, they have their teachers lounge vending machine on your honor machine. So we shop for that as well as stock that for them. So things that we're doing within our inner community of Mukwonago schools. As well as being involved in our community we went to the Mukwonago 9/11 Memorial Ceremony and participated as part of that ceremony, and then we were able to take a firehouse tour and learn about all the different pieces that happen within the firehouse. Ryan, would you like to share about this one?
We went to Independence First. We learned about job skills or something.
Yep, so we attend Independence First, which is a company that is in Milwaukee that we contract with through the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. And our students have access to this, and we learn about a variety of different job skills, self-help. And Callie is the gal there in the white, who is an amazing teacher. We've tried to get her to come work for the district a few times, but no luck. But luckily, we still get to see Callie every week. We also partner with a local organization, Spencer Smith and Perugini Chiropractic, and we do patient supply stocking. So our students are in charge of getting the laundry. We take care of it, wash it, fold it, restock it, and then restock where the patients pick up their optional gowns to wear during their adjustments. We also work at the Mount Olive Kitchen Cupboard. We go there twice a month and we volunteer. You can see Bree is there. She is always one that wants to go and help out at Mount Olive, where we pack and sort the different donations that come in based on their expiration dates and the need that they have within Mount Olive. Ryan, would you like to tell about this?
Picky Picky is a resale shop in Waukesha. And they sell old vintage stuff.
That works. I think I missed a slide in there somehow. Go back one slide. So another thing that we do, we also work in the Mukwonago Food Pantry and volunteer there. We partnership with our SOAR program here at the high school, so that we were working here to help with that extra holiday traffic happening. And we're continuing to do sorting and organization. You can see the bottom picture there. We completely restructured their pickup program with their direction, but revamped how it worked so it would flow a whole lot better. So we'll go back to Picky Picky. So we are working at Picky Picky regularly. Students go there and have a variety of opportunities and a variety of interests available to them, so not like any other store that you'll find around here. This is in 5 Points in Waukesha. If we look at our next slide, you can see here, these are all student-directed displays. So Breeze is in the upper corner, and those are all what, Bree?
Hulk MS.
Say it louder.
Hulk MS.
Yep, Hulk and other superheroes. Andrew helped with the display underneath that, which is the up north display. Ryan's display is on the bottom. He's a fan of Pepsi, but he was willing to work with Coke. As well as toys from multiple generations, and then Grace is the bottom there with Disney. So allowing our students to take their skills and interests and improve the community. We were also able to take ourselves a field trip to Cateros with Mark Swiesiak, the owner there, you can see. He took us through the entire process of making pizza from start to finish, getting the dough ready, putting all of our toppings on, baking them, and of course we took time to enjoy our yummy pizzas. And then it was also our job to bust the tables and clean up and get everything ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a delicious way to learn some new skills. We've also contracted with DSAW, the Down Syndrome Association of Wisconsin, where they help us to set up business tours so we're able to see behind the scenes of a variety of different businesses and learning about different opportunities that exist there. And you can see myself there with a handsome young man. That is one of my former students who is now working full-time at Zero Zone and moving up into a area manager position. Another place that we went to Ingleside and we took a tour there. Pretty much everybody was surprised at all the different opportunities that happened there, more than just going to the water park and seeing the Christmas lights. So we got to see the laundry, the front of the house, the kitchen, the dish room, and just all the different things, learning that they divide different parts of the jobs, and had a number of students say, hey, I could do that. So it opened everyone's eyes to some different opportunities that even I as the teacher had not thought about. We took a sidebar trip over to see Ladder Company 30 when we were in Milwaukee. We learned that it's definitely more than just the shiny red truck, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Bree, what did you learn about while we were there?
Huh?
What did you learn about when we were there?
Water.
Yep, for the?
Hose.
Yep, learning about using the water and the hoses and how those work. Ryan?
Oh, I refilled the fire extinguisher.
Yep. So Ryan is learning there how different fire extinguishers work, and he was able to refill one of the fire extinguishers with the right solution for it to work. Andrew?
I learned a couple ones. One is how to use one of those fire extinguishers. 2, do the steps and learn how firefighters only use the fire pole.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so we learned that the fire pole is only for emergencies and only at night. Otherwise, they take a pretty windy set of stairs to get up to their living quarters, where we got to learn all the different jobs and responsibilities of getting to live in the firehouse for the day. We also attended the Mukwonago Police Department for Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and we got to check out how the 911 system works, where they track the cars, how the court system works there, and of course, we got to check out the shiny cars and all the bright lights, because what's a trip to the police station without that? Pretty sure that was everybody's favorite part of it. Yeah. We also adopted 2 different donation stations within the community for the Christmas Clearing Council of Waukesha County, the Mukwonago Library, and Citizens Bank. Over the time that we donated those items, we collected over 200 toys that we were able to help donate to the Christmas Clearing Council. We also went out and we learned about a number of different coffee shops that exist, some that are just regular coffee shops and some that are also run by students that receive special education services like ourselves. We went to Inclusion Coffee Shop in Heartland and got to see how their shop worked. And then we also went to Inspired Coffee Shop in Lake Geneva. We checked out Brew 52 and other locals, and as a result of interest in this here and working at Joe to Go, we have a student that is also employed at Espresso Love. Anybody want to share? Nope. All right. So we went over to Studio 84 in Whitewater and had an opportunity for some different art experiences, because educating the entire person is part of what our program is. It's not just about doing work and getting through work all the time, because life is about having some fun. We also are a part of LEAP, which is Local Educators and Agencies Promoting Potential. So it's an opportunity for networking of students to connect with other students that may have similar interests, as well as teaching staff to be able to meet with other educators. You can see us on the bottom that we participated in a karaoke event in West Milwaukee, and at the top we participated in the Snowflake Dance in Oak Creek with almost 400 people in attendance there. Was it fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. We also utilize our vehicles to get out and about and do various job shadows and provide support to students. So both of these individuals posted here are now employed with community employment after going out and seeing what a job was like and learning the skills with the support of people that know them. Ryan also has a job. I just don't have a picture because he's been working there for a while at Road Track and Trail. It's a pretty cool place, right, Ryan?
It's a nice place.
Yep. And then we also have some fun out and about in the community. We have attended the Admirals game. We went to the pumpkin patch, as well as supported the jack-o'-lantern jaunt. We take care of our vans. Some people like washing windows a whole lot more than others do. And then we participate in a little animal husbandry activity, taking care of the chickens. That was before egg prices were really expensive. So just a little data, because everybody likes data to support what we're doing. So as of January 24th, 2025, the end of first semester, we had traveled a total of 5,108.5 miles, which led us to 594 minutes of instruction within the community. If you break that down into our instructional days, we have 68.3 days of community instruction of the 69 days that my students were in session. So we are out and about a whole lot. And that would not be possible without the amazing staff and having the appropriate supports we need. There's a picture of our crew right there, as well as our fleet of vehicles that let us go and be out and about. We have 3 vans. We have had more than one opportunity where we had to figure out a rideshare situation or turn down an opportunity because we didn't have a 4th van and we couldn't make it all work. So if you want to get us another van, we'd love it. So thank you for supporting Aspire for Independence 18 and beyond. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Mike?
No question. I just want to reiterate how great the program is. I used to sub there in that classroom many times over a year ago.
Yep.
So Ryan and Bree and Andrew, I saw you guys a whole bunch of times, and it was awesome being in that class. And my wife continues to sub there right now.
Yep, she's part of our crew right now.
Yep, and just a great team, and they do great things there. It was always just a pleasure and an honor to go in that classroom. Thank you.
Thank you.
I ran into Scott Dooley. We had lunch at Rustics, and the very first thing he said to us was, "You wouldn't believe the great kids I have working for me." And I didn't know it was these guys. It was pretty awesome. That's quite a statement.
Yeah, we have a great time when we go there, and Scott is actively working with us and has changed around his schedule to be able to be there when we're there too. So it's been a really nice partnership.
Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to say the love that you can see in the photos that you take with your students, it's just, it's very clear that, you know, this isn't just a job to you, that this is a calling, and our community's very fortunate. These young adults are very fortunate, and thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you. Yep, we're a family.
It is one of the most impressive presentations I've seen so far this year. It's awesome. I didn't know how in-depth it really was, and this presentation really put a clear light on it. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, friends, nice job.
Finally going to give him his microphone back?
After the meeting, talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm reminding you.
All right, up next we have the consent agenda. We're looking for the approval of the special school board meeting minutes of January 13th, 2025, and approval of the school board meeting minutes of January 27th, 2025. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, that is approved by consent. We're going to move down to student learning topics.
Okay, I have 2 items this evening, both of them informational. The first one is a summary of our standardized assessments that we give within the district. So on the screen behind you, you have a list of all of those assessments. Some of these are district-based assessments. Others are state-required assessments. So I'll just quickly go through those for you. If you take a look at the first 3 assessments, the Ames Web Plus, we have the fast reading and math, and then the iReady. Those are screening assessments. Those are given 3 times a year in the fall, winter, and spring. Those assessments are used for us to really see where students are, and then it allows our teachers to really target their instruction and their interventions to the specific needs of the students. The Ames Web Plus is a new assessment to us in the district. Previously, we have used the FastBridge early reading screeners, and then with the passing of Act 20, which we presented about back in December, I believe, we are now required to give Ames Web Plus. So we have just switched out these 2 assessments. They really are similar assessments, and they give us similar information. Then we give the FAST adaptive reading and math.
Christine, that has to stay open. Sorry. Okay. Yes, please.
Then we give the FAST adaptive reading and math assessments at our elementary grade levels, and then the iReady test at our middle school level. And then we are also giving the iReady math assessment at Eagleville. The reason we are giving this there is because they are using iReady as their math resource. So those are our screening assessments that are given within the district. And then the following assessments are state required assessments. So the first one there, the access test. This is a test that is required of any students who are English language learners. So that assessment was given in December and January and has been completed for all of the students who need to do that. The next assessment that will be coming up soon, this is a big assessment, our state forward exam. So this exam is given in grades 3 through 8. They take an ELA portion as well as a math portion. And then there are a few other pieces. At grades 4, 8, and 10, there is also a social studies assessment. And then at grades 4 and 8, there is a science test as well. So that will be given in March and April. Our schools are currently preparing for that assessment. And then for some of our students who have the most significant needs, they take an alternate assessment to the forward exam, and that is called the dynamic learning maps. So that assessment is just given to a small subset of students within our district. And then for the high school, at grades 9 and 10, they take the pre-ACT Secure. This assessment tests them in the areas of English, reading, math, and science. They will take this test in April, and if you remember, Ben came and talked about this in December. New this year, we are going to have the building only open to 9th and 10th graders during this assessment so that we can make sure that we have the best possible testing environment for our students. So that will occur on April 8th. And then finally, of course, our juniors will be taking the ACT Plus writing. That assessment will occur in March. And again, that is a day when only our juniors are in the building. And then a final state requirement is the state civics test. This is a test that students have to take and have to pass with a score of 65 out of 100 as part of the graduation requirement. So this test is given in our 9th grade American government classes, and then students have the opportunity to retake the test as needed. And then finally, any of our students who are in AP classes, they will take their AP exams. All of the AP exams are scheduled by the College Board and typically occur in the first couple of weeks in May. So that is kind of an overview of our assessments. Are there any questions about that?
Any questions? None for that? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then the next topic is just a update on some of the curriculum renewal work that we are doing within the district. So as I had shared in December, we do follow a curriculum renewal process. This is a continual cycle where we are looking at our curriculum in each curricular area. So you can see on the screen the priorities that we have for the 24-25 school year for this year. Some of the things that we have been working on is we are researching our ELA curriculum for the elementary level. We are piloting new resources at the secondary level in ELA and in science. And then we are implementing a new math curriculum at the elementary level and we are monitoring the new social studies curriculum at the elementary level. That was implemented in the 23-24 school year, so it's in its second year. So tonight, I'm just going to give you a update on the pilot and the ELA research. So when we are in our pilot process, we make sure to really take a very close look at the materials. We're trying them out. We're making sure that many of our stakeholders have a chance to take a look at these materials. We want to make sure that they align closely with our district goals and that they meet the needs of our students. So some of the things that we have done thus far in our pilot process: in October, we held a community viewing night for parents and community members to come out, and Michelle Ziegler and I provided a presentation regarding the pilots. We told people how and why the materials were selected. We showed them the materials, and then they had the chance to review those materials. Throughout the year, we are doing a very careful review of all of those materials. This includes making the materials available to school board members as well. So Michelle Ziegler and myself are going through all the materials carefully. We are talking to teachers and coaches. You can see that's one of our action steps, is frequent check-in meetings. We are gathering feedback from them and then just really taking a very close look at those materials. So this is a look at our middle school science pilot. The 7th and 8th grade science teachers piloted 2 different resources, and they piloted 1 unit from each resource. So they were piloting the Lab Aids resource and the Open Sci-Ed resource. Both of these resources are what we call a phenomena-based approach. So both of the resources take real-world events and teach the students the science concepts through those events where they can actively explore and investigate, which you can see if you look at the rationale for why they chose these resources. One of the things that they were looking for was inquiry-based learning, which both of these programs have. They were also looking for resources that had strong standards alignment that we were able to customize. So for both of these resources, the units are able to be customized to the specific progression that we have within our district. So we are able to put the units in the grade level and at the time of the year that make the most sense for us. And then finally, they were looking for materials that were organized in a way that made them accessible to both students and teachers. At the high school level, we have pilots happening in our biology department and then in our chemistry department. Both of those departments are piloting just 1 textbook. You can see the names of the textbooks that they are piloting. And the rationale for choosing these books was, first and foremost, again, they were looking for books that were well aligned to the standards. At the high school level, they were really looking for a resource that had a particular scope and sequence, a particular way in which it arranged the units. They were looking for strong digital resources for both students and teachers. They wanted something that had materials that allowed them to differentiate for student need. And then they wanted something that was really going to allow the students to dig into the material and use problem solving and critical thinking skills. And then for our secondary ELA pilot, we are piloting a resource called My Perspectives, which is published by Savis. And we are piloting this at 6th grade all the way through our junior English classes. The 6th through 8th grade teachers are piloting 4 units of this resource. And then at the high school level, they are piloting 1 to 2 units. And you can see the names of the units that they have there. The rationale for selecting this resource, again, you're going to hear this theme quite often, is that standards alignment. They were looking for something that was really well aligned to the standards. They were looking for something that really allowed the students to interact with the text, to read those texts multiple times and in multiple different ways. They were looking for a resource with strong vocabulary instruction. In terms of assessments, they were really looking for something that had skills-based assessments. So it wasn't just asking students to repeat information, but to apply their skills. They wanted something in terms of writing that had strong rubrics and student checklists. And then again, they wanted materials that were differentiated for student need. So some of the things that we have really been working on in terms of these pilots is we've been really working closely, particularly at the middle school level and with our 6th through 8th grade teachers, to make sure that we are digging into the standards. We are making sure that we are well aligned in our approach to both of these pilots. So we pulled the 6th through 8th grade ELA teachers together in October and had them do some alignment work together. And then we are currently working with our 6th through 8th grade science teachers to continue the standards work that was started last year, and then to begin to develop our scope and sequence for our science work. So we've been digging into our data, really looking at our research to make sure that we develop a scope and sequence for our science curriculum that makes sense. Some of our next steps are that we will be collecting feedback from all of our pilot teachers. So we will be sending each of them a survey. They will have the chance to rate and to comment on several different components. As I went through the rationale, those components, those things they were looking for, those will be the things that they will see on the survey, and they will have the chance to rate those things for each of the resources. And then in April, we will bring our recommendations for moving forward with a new resource to the school board. All right, so then shifting gears a little bit, I'm going to talk just a little bit about the work that has been occurring at the elementary level with our ELA research. So for our ELA research, we have really started that standards work, which is part of our research process. So in January, we were able to take some time on one of our PD days and bring some of our elementary teachers together to start identifying our essential standards for ELA. And then we have a time set aside coming up in the next couple of weeks to do some vertical alignment work with those standards. We also administered a survey to all of our elementary staff regarding the ELA curriculum that they currently have. So we asked them to rate their current resources. We asked them what they were looking for in a new resource. And then we also asked them a very important question regarding the timeline for this work. When I talked about this in December, I had shared with you that we had received some feedback from teachers that they needed more time when they implement a new curriculum. They need the time to really dig into that before moving on to the next resource. So that was one of the things that we asked them, and we wanted to be very mindful and thoughtful about this timeline to make sure that our teachers have the capacity to engage in this work. We have started to review various resources. At the end of January, all of our elementary principals and coaches, as well as some representative teachers, came together, and we heard presentations from 5 different companies And we utilized a look fors tool as we were listening to those presentations to look for certain components that were important to us. So then from there, we have started to plan for an ELA resource pilot for grades 3 through 5 for next year. And then we are planning to continue to research ELA for K2 next year, and then pilot the following year. And that is based on our survey results. So you can see a snapshot of the survey question that we asked them about timeline. For our K2 teachers, almost 60% of our teachers indicated that they would like to wait to pilot a resource until the 26-27 school year. For our 3-5 teachers, however, that was a completely different story. Only 24% of 3-5 teachers indicated that they would like to wait, and 76% of them want to move forward with piloting a new resource next year. We know that we have a very strong K2 resource, and our data shows that. However, that is a little bit different of a story at 3-5. So those teachers are ready to move forward and to engage in that work. One of the things that we asked them on the survey is we asked them to rate different components that they would be looking for in a resource. And you can see on the screen the top 5 things that they said they were looking for in a resource. So these things have been included in that look fors document, and we are using that document as we are reviewing various resources to make sure that we are really keying in on the things that are most important as we look to a new resource. And then finally, our next steps for ELA research, we are going to continue to review and refine our essential standards. We are continuing to review possible resources. So we started that work, listened to some presentations. Now the coaches, as well as Michelle Ziegler, are going to dig into those resources a bit more using that look fors document. We're also going to engage in some discussions with, and we are going to visit some schools in the area who are utilizing those resources. And then we will start carefully considering and planning that 3-5 pilot. This is going to be something that we are very thoughtful about. We have collected information from our teacher advisory committee about the curriculum renewal process and how pilots work. And we will be using that information to make sure that we are very thoughtful in our approach. And then we will bring our pilot decision to the school board in either April or May, and then hold a community viewing night of the pilot materials. So that's kind of the plan moving forward. Are there any questions about any of those curriculum renewal pieces?
Mike?
Hi, Angela.
Hi.
So I don't remember if I was briefed this before a long time ago, whatever, but, and, you know, I'm going to play dumb here. What is K2 exactly? What, does that just mean 2-year-olds?
Sorry, kindergarten through 2nd grade.
Okay, so it's not 2-year-olds.
Not 2-year-olds.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Kindergarten through 2nd grade. Good job.
I just wanted to clarify it because I always, you know, I heard K3 for 3-year-olds and K4 for 4-year-olds, and I was like, I didn't know we're doing 2-year-olds.
No.
Okay, thank you for clearing it up.
Crosby?
So I hope the answer to my question is because we have very high standards. But when I look at the fact that we are only piloting one curriculum for biology, chemistry, and ELA, that is a little bit of a red flag for me. There's no other curriculums out there that meet our standards.
So for the science, I did talk to them about that. Obviously, I was not here when this,
Right.
for the background of the pilots. However, we did talk about that. And for the high schools specifically, as I kind of explained as part of their rationale, they were looking for a very specific scope and sequence. So they were looking for a specific way in which the material is taught and progressed throughout the year, and felt that of all the books that they looked at, those were the only possible choices for them.
Okay. I guess for, biology and
Talking to Mike, please.
what?
Mike.
Oh, sorry. I guess for biology and chemistry, that's okay. But I'm looking at this ELA program, and it looks very much like an SEL program baked into an ELA program. So, is it ELA?
Yep.
Or is it SEL? I can't tell.
Yeah, so many of the reading resources are based on science of reading research, and they use an approach that's called the knowledge building approach. So the idea is to really grow student knowledge and their background knowledge about the world. So many of these programs are organized into units that have a theme. They have a central or an essential question that's really meant to kind of interest the students and hook them in. And many of these units do have a social studies and a science spin for that background knowledge building part.
Okay.
Is there any way, like we always talk about doing it the Mukwonago way, like reading some of the books that went along? We're talking about like October, right, when you're showing the books.
Yep.
Can we get a better variety of books? Does it always have to be geared towards social emotional learning? I mean, we have SEL in our school. We have social studies. Now it seems like it's coming into English as well, into ELA.
Yeah, again, I think it's just the specific approach. Again, if you take a look at other resources that are available, you will see a very similar pattern with those resources. Again, just that thematic approach where they're really trying to build knowledge.
I agree. It comes from everywhere nowadays. But is there a way we can take some of the material and have a bigger variety of books the kids can be reading and writing on?
Yeah, so the resource does include other pieces as well. There's lots of choice literature in there that may not be something that you can see when you click in those resource sites. There's also novel studies that are included. So that is something that we are discussing right now. Is one of the things is we would definitely not use all of the units that are within the textbook. There's just too much material there for us to get through. So we would be carefully selecting the units that we do pick, and then we would be using some of those supplemental reading resources that they have within the resource, those novel studies and other pieces. So yes, that is something we can definitely look at, and the board can take a look at those materials as well.
Okay.
One of the things that we did talk about was when we get into this pilot, when we're looking for new resources, ensuring that we're not just looking at one resource going down the road. When you do see one resource come forward, you see what that scope is. Angela and I talked very early on, prior to that October community open house to look at this curriculum, where if we had multiple sources there, one, I think it would give everybody an understanding as to what are the current options that meet the standards that we're being assessed on. But then also how we can go about building out, Dale, I think to what you were talking about, what does a wider variety of text look like within the scope of these units? And I think if we have more resources in the pilot, we're able to develop a little bit more of an understanding around that. So you will see that in what is coming up in these next curricular cycles. You'll see more resources being piloted by our teachers. And then when we do those community open houses, people will come in and see what those resources are.
Okay.
So just a process question then. So we're piloting one single curriculum for each of these 3 subject areas. When we're done with the pilot, is this just like an automatic pass? What happens if we don't like this curriculum? Like,
Yeah.
do we just go back to the drawing board, or what do we do?
Yep, I think given that we just have the one resource, that is what would have to happen. So we will take all of the feedback that we get from the teachers. Every single one of them will have the chance to weigh in. We will bring that all together and we will hold a resource meeting, resource selection meeting, and we will be talking about those things. We've already been talking about some of those things along the way that we have seen. There's no perfect resource. So there is always opportunities in there to supplement the resource or to do some of the things that we already had that were working. So some of those things we have already been discussing along the way, but that's what that meeting is all about, is we'll take a look at that and see what we think and what our suggestion is for moving forward.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. All right, up next, finance and facilities.
Jim, you're going to learn to love these for sure.
I'm sorry, Craig, what was that?
Great job. Keep
All right. All right, here we go. Just a couple things here tonight, and I will go quick here. So I'm going to start off first with just a 5-year budget projection. But as I said in my memo, you know, a lot of the 5-year projections, so this is the first slide. I'm going to come back to this. I have various 5-year snapshots where this blue column represents our current school year, and then we have the upcoming budget year, and then the 4 years that follow. And so these 2 years, these two columns are the next biennial budget, and then the 2 columns that follow are the biennial budget after that. And then this last column is another biennial budget. So we're guessing at 3, which is, it's impossible. It doesn't even really make total sense. Now, when we get a bond rating shortly, when we begin to borrow money as it relates to the middle school project, and the bond council says, or the bond council and others are going to give us a rating, they're going to say, hey, have you presented a 5-year budget projection to your school board? And to that I'm going to say, yeah, I did on February 10th. Here it is. But what I'm saying is that ultimately I don't put a lot of stock on future years. So really what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to back up to the original screen, and these are just going to focus on various scenarios that all go one by one, and they're just going to focus on 25, 26. Some of these scenarios, like if you look out to year 2, 3, and 4 and the other scenarios, that shows what happens if we don't make corrections, right? Like you could point and say, wow, there's a deficit, and then the deficit grows, and then it grows some more, and we have a problem. Well, that's, again, all scenarios, we're not doing anything to address it, and we always would address it more than likely. So what I'm showing you here right now, and just kind of working left to right here, is that we're just looking at Fund 10. Fund 10 revenues, Fund 10 expenditures. Fund 10 is our general fund. The health of this fund is the one that matters the most. Right now, as I said to you back in January, we have about a $1.2 million deficit. This is primarily driven by the recognition of a large technology project that we're going to do this coming school year, okay? Absent that project, we'd be in better shape, but we have this. And we will likely have similar projects, be it for CADA and school safety technology, in the following school year. We have a need to open up our budget and create room for this here, all right? So this is our baseline scenario, and the key assumptions that I have in this right now are the minus the losing 125 students next year. We adopted that at the last meeting. I'm going to skip salary and health for a second, go to the revenue limit, adding $325. Current law says that we will get an additional $325 for many years to come. The low revenue ceiling is $11,000. That's the least amount of money a school district can receive on a per student basis. All right, that hasn't changed, and we're leaving that as is. And then the special education reimbursement for all of our special ed costs for teachers and transportation, we get 30% reimbursement. I kind of jumped the gun because I had to start somewhere and said CPI, which is what teachers unions can bargain up to, is 2.95%. So I assume that just for right now, and then just to make this happen, I also said let's increase our health insurance costs by 5%. Those are the biggest assumptions that affect the budget. So you adopted 3 of those. I filled in the other 2, but I'm going to look for your feedback at the next school board meeting here. Scenarios 1, 2, and 3 next year just show you what a 1% salary increase looks like, a 2%, and a 3%. And then the results down here you'll see that our costs on the Fund 10 expenses, as I work across this row here, are the only thing that changes because we're changing the salary increase here. So I'm highlighting what this scenario shows. So if we were chasing a $1.2 million deficit, we can reduce that deficit to $435,000 simply by going from a 2.95 salary percent increase down to 1%. So we save money. Is that what we would like to do to save money? Again, that's a future decision that we'll have to make as to what we want to do for employee compensation. So simply put, each percentage of salary increase is about $400,000. Okay? So as we kind of do the math, if we were to adopt a 2.95% salary building, that is saying, all right, wherever we are now, let's keep up with inflation. If inflation is being defined as 2.95% for the 25-26 school year, that seems to be a reasonable starting point. But that just those three scenarios just to show you what the magnitude is. All right. Here I'm going to increase our health insurance increase to 10%. Even though we do a lot of great things to help curb our rate of inflation or our rate of expenses there, we take a lot of proactive measures to hold the line on this. And even when we do all the things well, the cost of a knee replacement is going to go up 10%. The cost of mammograms is going to go up 10%. There's nothing we can do to get in the way of health inflation. So we might want to adopt a higher than a 5% increase. We might need to build a budget that says, hey, let's anticipate a 10% rate increase for our health insurance. Our health insurance consultants, Sarah and Megan, will be here next month to give you a State of the Union, and we'll get more information as to where this current school year is. I don't have any information that says, wow, things are really bad. I think things are going okay, which in today's day and age is another way of saying it could be a lot worse, but things are pretty good, okay? They'll come and give you the final details next time. But you can see that ultimately, if we go from a 5% to a 10% health insurance assumption increase, our costs go up $310,000, right? So that ultimately creates a deficit of $1.5 million. We went from 1.2 as our baseline to 1.5 because all we did was change our health insurance increase. The last three here, then I'm changing in these three far right columns are funding increases. So right now we assume $325 on a per student increase. This column here, where I'm shaking my mouse, is a $413 increase. I simply showed that because that's what the DPI request has been. If we would go rather than a $325 per student increase up to $413 per student increase, we would increase our revenues by $406,000. If the debt ceiling, if the, that's a federal thing, if the low revenue ceiling was increased from $11,000 where it is today up to $12,000, in other words, if we're receiving $11,325 per day, if they would say, hey, we're going to move that minimum up to $12,000, anybody under that $12,000 is moving up to that, we would benefit from that. So there's been requests by DPI and others to move that ceiling yet again from $11,000 up to $12,000, and that would increase our revenues by $1.6 million. I don't think this is going to happen. Like, personally speaking, I think that's it's a little bit out there, but like you'll hear some talk about that. And then lastly, special education categorical aid reimbursement. So again, just to remind, we got some new school board members here. For every dollar that we spend on special education teachers or transportation, we get reimbursed for those costs 1 year later. Currently, that rate's about 30%. Okay, so for every dollar we spend, we get 30 cents back 1 year later. If they were to increase that reimbursement from 30% to 40%, we would get an additional $1 million. This area here is something that I think can be likely, where this, the state legislature has been asked for a long time now, can you increase the special education reimbursement rate? So I bring these up here because we're going to do a lot of budget work and a lot of budget decisions here in the coming months here. But then all of a sudden by June 20th or July 20th, we'll get the biennial budget, and we might be in a completely different position than what we're anticipating with all these scenarios. And I just show these to show the range of values that we could ultimately have. So we're going to make some budget decisions here, and then all of a sudden they could increase that special education reimbursement rate to maybe 60%. and now we have a positive surplus. And we can point back and say, well, Tom, how did we get in this position? Well, right now we're guessing. We're going to make intelligent guesses and best guesses, but this just goes to show how kind of critical these assumptions really are. And it's really anybody's guess at this time. We really can't wait to make 25, 26 budget decisions in August. We're really going to be making these here in March and April. It's just the uncertainty of entering the new biennial budget. Joe, is there anything you wanted to add to that? No? Okay.
Tom, can you scroll over, please?
Yes, I can.
So the school board and staff, to make that happen, we talk about school safety. Obviously, that's a priority for us. In order to make that happen, we heard from the community as well, we have to spend that money if we're going to move forward with better technology for school safety. So just so we're clear, people know, a lot of people in the community reached out about student safety. So I just want to reiterate why that number's big.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess to those who are listening, we are interested in bringing in a really advanced technology security. It employs the use of a lot of cameras, a lot of bandwidth, a whole lot of everything. But we went, and Dale, you were there, we went to Waukesha to look at what they have there. Obviously, Joe is familiar with his experience in that district. And I think we all walked away saying this can really benefit student safety. Let's get ourselves in a position to do this. We have to upgrade our technology infrastructure to even allow for this to be implemented. Right now, we just don't have the backbone to handle such a system. So we're taking that step this year, and then we'll take the next step the following year and get there as quickly as we can, as we balance up all needs.
Our SROs see the need as well.
Okay, so let's get there if that's what you all would like to do. Okay, yep. Well,
Mike?
Just a totally different topic, but it seems like there's a chance the Department of Education is going to go away federally. Will that affect our budgets, or is that just way too much guessing involved, or is that something we need to worry about or not?
Well, I don't have many of the answers on it. It really depends. You know, I think it's the Department of Ed at the federal level is about, if I remember correctly, it's like 2% of the entire national budget. What they would decide to do with that 2% of the budget, which comes out, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 billion. What they decide to do with that is would it benefit us or not? And that would be, do they decide to go through a different agency at the federal level that would pass the funds through? Now, there are some funds that are written into law that you really, at the federal level, couldn't touch. The IDEA funds to fund students with disabilities. We get a grant, a flow-through grant that comes through. That is written into law, a lot of laws. So how do you go about addressing that? That might come. But if they use it as a budget reduction at the federal level, then there's no guarantee that $250 billion would come into the public setting. I think more realistically, as Tom had alluded to, the area where there seems to be some consensus at the state level is around special education funding. Special ed funding in the mid to late 90s, as I remember from my coursework, was somewhere in the neighborhood of 70%. The state covered 70% reimbursement. They whittled that away. It was as low as about 23% about 15 years ago. They bumped it up to about 30% now. And if there's an area where the state would say, hey, we all agree that this is a high-cost area for school districts, the more money we spend in special education, if we do have to get into these budget reductions, we can't just reduce in special education. You know, we have a formula called maintenance of effort. We have to spend as much or more from year to year in special ed. That then requires a transfer from our general fund at the end of each year to the special education budget. And so if the state would increase that special ed reimbursement, we hear about the surplus all the time at the state. This goes to a worthy cause. This would be targeted monies, but that would then help us offset what we have to reduce in a general education setting. So some things to consider. I know that there's a lot of state representatives, there's a lot of state agencies. Everybody seems to agree that the special ed piece from the state of Wisconsin would be the piece then that would get that. You know, there's support there. So all the other ones are kind of up in the air, but that's the one. The Department of Ed at the federal level, I mean, we're seeing decisions that are being made, but they're immediately getting challenged in court. I think the thing that we have a little bit more grasp on is the state level stuff.
We receive about $1.6 million a a year in federal funds. So if this were to all go away, that's what the impact would be. About 1 million of that is the IDEA funds, which Dr. Cook just said, it's individuals with disabilities funding. And then the other 600,000 comes through our food service reimbursements from the United States Department of Agriculture. They ultimately subsidize food, give us money, we can buy that, help with our free and reduced population, so on and so forth. So if all funding from federal sources dried up, we would have a $1.6 million situation. Jason?
I apologize if this is redundant. I'm sure it is. I'm just getting caught up to speed. In regards, stepping back to what you were talking about with the school safety, and you were saying we don't really have the infrastructure in place to implement these things. So you're probably going to have to take kind of a tiered approach to getting things up to speed. What does that look like in terms of cost, phase one, to get it so that we could implement that? What kind of costs are associated with that? And then moving to actual implementation, what is the cost there? Is it just a singular cost, or is it a AI subscription based kind of ongoing recurring cost?
Yeah, if you're wondering what when I was sitting here earlier, Verkada is a system we're considering at this time. It's AI based.
What was it again?
Verkada, VERKATA, Verkada. That's the system that our neighbors in Waukesha use. We've looked at that. It's impressive. We have a quote that expired in September, but given the amount of technology, hardware, and all shipping costs all in was about $1.6 million. To get our technology backbone ready to actually handle this is $1.2 million, and that's really what we're looking at there in the 25-26 baseline scenario right now.
I think the thing that I would add to that is that backbone piece that Tom is talking about was something that was starting to come due in our district as time went forward. As we talk about roof cycles, parking lot cycles, HVAC, all of that in other buildings, this is part of the capital work, if you will, that we need to do, the infrastructure work that we need to do in technology. And these things were coming up, they were coming to the end of life right now that we had to replace.
So we're talking sensors on doors, so on and so forth.
We're talking switches, the behind-the-scene thing that has the capability of powering the entire building. That is what this $1.2 million purchase is for.
And so then, coming back to the 1.6 in the second phase of it all, is that an ongoing cost, or that's just 1.6?
I can speak to Waukesha handled it as a one-time 10-year purchase.
Okay.
So it was a 10-year license that carried them forward, and that built in natural upgrades over time, and it also handled, if the camera went within that 10-year period of time, it also covered the replacement of the camera.
Hey, Tom, the fiber optics in the village, does that affect us? Is that going to help us with this project?
Not in this particular project, no. I could be wrong, but I don't think it will. But ultimately, when it helps us create redundancy, which is that if a telephone pole gets hit and all the things that are on that pole go down, we will have a secondary source of internet connection that we'll have a connection coming from Muskego and another coming from like the Kettle Moraine area, where we'll ultimately set ourselves up to cover ourselves, and that we'll have redundant coverage. It's just one of those things where none of us probably really went to school with internet, and now you can't live without it. So you got to really make sure you have it at all times. But that's kind of a separate thing, Craig. Good. I just put in, there's a lot of details that support each one of these scenarios. So as you kind of go to the second page, there's 5 years, and I'm just adjusting one. I kind of put it in the right-hand side. So this is the salary at a 1% increase. Here's salary at 2% increase. Here's salary at 3% increase. Next page is another set of scenarios. This is health insurance at 5%. Here's our health insurance at 10%. You can just kind of see the 5-year projections. Again, all that really matters to me is 25, 26. Everything beyond that, tackle those issues when they come. Let's just take this thing 1 year at a time. We'll always keep our eye on the prize, right, and making sure that we're building healthy budgets here. What I will ask the school board to do is, let's adopt these assumptions together, just so that we know, like, kind of how did we get to where we are? Like, when we get to March, April, May, and, we're chasing a certain deficit, why do we have that deficit? So, what do we want to adopt for a salary increase assumption? What do we want to adopt for a health insurance increase assumption? I'll make some recommendations when I send you a memo in 2 weeks, and hopefully we can adopt those then next in 2 weeks, okay? We'll just focus on salary increases and health increases. And we'll probably just tackle a couple more assumptions the month after that, and then we'll move forward, okay? Any questions? Okay. All right. I just want to give a little bit more of information here. I gave some of this update here last meeting here, but I'm going to give you just, this will be very quick here. So the Wisconsin Policy Forum gave some information here in a January report, and it really focuses on Wisconsin state and local tax burdens and how they fell again. So just to give a summary of all taxes here, and you know, sometimes these are just really big concepts, but I'm going to try to break it down in simplest terms here. These are the major taxes that all of our Wisconsin residents and citizens of the United States pay. So federal income tax is a tax that we all pay when we file our year-end stuff. That's coming up here shortly. And that's defined by a tax bracket by the IRS. So if you were so inclined, you could click on this link here. It'll take you to the IRS webpage, and it'll talk about, you know, the tax rates at what percentage based on how much you make. If you're filing married, a couple's filing jointly, so on and so forth. But you know, that's something outside of our control, clearly. Then we have state income taxes, which is the same thing. You file your taxes at the end of the year. State of Wisconsin is going to tax you based on how much money you're making, so on and so forth. The state has a, the state has a 5%, I apologize, bear with me. State has a 5% sales tax on all charges that take place, or transactions, purchases that take place. And typically there's always going to be an additional 0.5% county sales tax. There's 2 Wisconsin counties that do not utilize the 0.5% tax. Waukesha County is one of them. You might have heard they recently considered that, so adding that 0.5% tax, so the county has the latitude to pursue that. You know, that's really up to the county board if they want to implement that. You know, the Waukesha County sheriff would, you know, has certain needs, and if they want to start to fund certain needs, the county board would have to determine, do we implement this or not? But 70 out of 72 counties do have that tax. Then lastly, there's local property taxes, right? And that's what shows up at the end of the school year, at the end of the calendar year. And you can see it funds K-12 schools, tech colleges, local municipalities, be it a town, village, or a city, along with county government. So all the taxes have a different philosophy. Obviously, income tax is a function of income. The more you make, the more you'll pay in that tax. Sales tax is a function of purchasing. The more you purchase, the more you'll pay in those taxes. And property tax is a function of your property value. So the more property value you have, the more property tax you'll pay. I remember giving a presentation about our referendum, and I talked about, you know, the assessment effects we were concerned with, and I said the assessment is done to make sure that you pay your fair share. And this particular individual really got after me and said, well, what is fair share? I'm like, I don't create the taxes, you know, but the philosophy is that if the property tax is dependent on your house value, you know, that's the more your house is worth, the more your property tax is. So I'm just going to, again, focus on what the state, and just a couple slides here, this will go quick. State taxes, county sales tax, and the local property tax. When we add those up right there, we're going to focus on what's happening statewide. Federal taxes are more than double of all those others combined. So the vast majority of all taxes that we pay as citizens are federal taxes. The state taxes and the local taxes are what we're going to focus on. This graph here just really shows where they have gone since 1990 through the 23-24 school year. When we talk about 2024 on this graph, it's really talking about 23-24, okay? The light blue line is state taxes, and the gray line is local taxes as a percentage of somebody's income. So what percentage of somebody's income is the state as a whole ultimately paying? You can see that that's gone down significantly over time. In the 99-2000 year, Wisconsin residents paid 12.5% of their income in state and local taxes, which was third highest. In 22-23, that fell to 9.92%, which was 35th nationally. This past year, the most recently completed school year here, was not down to 9.62%. So state and local taxes have dropped by 25% since 2000, which is the largest drop by a state nationally. Limits, so why did that happen? Limits on K-12, technical college, municipal governments, and county revenue have slowed the growth. So all that property tax has limits in place. However, again, I'm summarizing the report here. The spending limits have also prevented funding for local services to teachers, police, firefighters from rising at the same rate as inflation in recent years. So when we look at local property taxes here, K-12 schools are restricted by revenue limit laws. So we always talk about the revenue limit. That's for us $11,325 per student. We're assuming in our budget that value is going to go up by $325 next year. Technical college municipalities and county governments are restricted by the rate of net new construction. So Dale, you on the village board here in Mukwonago, you cannot raise your Village of Mukwonago tax levy in a rate that exceeds what the rate of net new construction was within the village boundaries. So every part of the local property tax has a restriction on it, and boards simply can't go crazy in issuing any tax that they feel. When we look at how much property taxes have changed from year to year, you can see here in 2024, it was a larger increase relative to years prior. In the early 2000s, you could see a 6 to 7% increase during this time was fairly common. Tax increases started to get low, a big negative here, and then minimal, slowly creeping upward. This year here, there was a larger increase in property taxes that was largely driven by, give me a second here, was largely driven by referendums being approved by school districts where local voters are saying, okay, our school district is looking for X, Y, or Z. It's up to them whether they want to do that. More and more school districts have approved referendum. And then also that larger bar at the end there is also being driven by the minimum amount from $10,000 per student to $11,000 per student. We talked about that low revenue ceiling. So as they adjusted that, that also pushes that value up. So there has been a larger increase in the property tax, but all in all, as a percentage of income, state and property taxes are the lowest they've been since 1970. All right, so here's just a couple of conclusions and then we're done here. So since 2000, no other state has had as large of a drop in state and local taxes as a share of income as Wisconsin. So this downward trend mirrors the state's decline in education spending, and it will not be easy to maintain in the future for several reasons. The passage of school referendum and a potential Waukesha County 0.5% sales tax suggests voters and some state leaders are balancing the desire for low taxes against other priorities, such as K-12 spending and public safety. So we all get concerned with the rate of taxation. I had a meeting on Friday with certain people, state legislators, and a representative from the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Association, as they asked private employers statewide, what's your biggest concern? For years, it's been the rate of taxation. They would ask their state legislators, please drop the rate of taxation. For the first time in decades, they have changed their tune to saying, please drop the cost of health care. Taxes are no longer our biggest concern. There's costs that we can't control, healthcare being one of them. So, you know, some like in terms of just managing taxes, sometimes we all desire low taxes, but we also need to have a reasonable investment for fire, police, and teachers. Last slide here then. So there's opportunities for government to limit spending, from helping Wisconsin's many local governments work together on delivering services to adjusting school operations to reflect the decline in the number of K-12 students in the state. Our district is no exception. In many cases, lowering spending will impact the quality of local schools and services here. In these cases, elected officials such as yourselves and the voters themselves will have to decide what constitutes the best value for their limited resources. So really that's it. That's all I have on that. You know, when some folks say taxes have never been higher, perhaps. We can't control what the federal government does. We can't control what state government does. But from a local property tax perspective, we can control our part. And we have, you know, cut those taxes 0.5% this past year. We've done that every single chance that we can. So I sometimes just draw this, I deliver this information to you so you kind of have a better grip perhaps on what has happened since 1970, how much our property and state taxes have dropped as a percentage of income. One thing I didn't state in this presentation, is that even if local property taxes grew by 4.6%, that was much less than what personal income around the state grew. Personal income was over 5%. So if people's incomes I'm speaking generally here, the state as a whole, incomes grew faster than taxes. So people have more purchasing power because of that, and that's been a 30-year trend now where income, state and local taxes are dropping as a share of personal income. So just giving some information there for you. Any questions on that? Okay. Lastly then, if there's any questions you have, so the last agenda item I have is food service. Chris Oswald is our new food service director. She's in her first year with us. She's going to join us in 2 weeks and give a short presentation, just a State of the Union. Is there anything in particular you would like? Any questions you'd like to ask that I can deliver to her now so she can prepare answers? Or is there anything in particular you'd like to have her cover? If not, she'll just kind of present, here's what we're doing this year. Like I said,
Carolyn?
State of the Union.
When we talked, and I think it must have been with Pam, because it was before Chris came on board, we were talking about offering different options, and we made a decision. I want to know, how is that going?
Sure.
Does she think we need to address that again, or are we good with however many options each? It was like elementary had this many options. They were doing the a la carte for middle school or adding extra a la carte options. I just want to know how it's going.
Yep, sure. We'll definitely answer those, all the new implementations. I mean, a lot of it is really all new to Chris, right in her first year, but she'll give you some of that information that you're looking for, okay?
Any other questions?
I have one.
Crosby?
I think we had talked a couple times about potentially leaving the federal school lunch program. So I'd like to maybe kind of have a discussion about that as well. Like, what would that look like? What would we need to do to make up the cost? And would that allow us to provide better and healthier options for lunches?
Sure, yeah. I think at the end of the day, we're going to focus that on just the high school. We could certainly look at all of it. There are a couple of other local school districts. I think Elmbrook comes to mind, and Muskego comes to mind, and they're not members of the National School Lunch Program, and therefore they don't have any federal regulations at just their high schools, though. It's not something they have at the middle school, elementary. But yeah, we can talk about that and what that would look like.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Want to apologize. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the meeting. I missed to excuse Eric Schwartz and Jake Heilingenthal. They were both excused from the meeting. I just went down there for the record. Moving on to action items, hires, retirements, and resignations.
All right, so we have no new contracts being offered, no resignations, but we do have 3 retirements. So Margie Canfield, if you know Margie, longtime employee, physical education teacher at the high school. Linda Gorman, a 3rd grade teacher at Rolling Hills Elementary, and then Linda Traeger, a science teacher at Mukwonago High School. And all of those are effective June 30th. So looking for approval of those retirements.
I would like to make a motion. We approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I would like to wish these teachers the best. Margie graduated with me in 80. I actually didn't say that. Never mind. In 99. But she's been a gymnastics teacher. She's been a great teacher. Friend of the student. Margie's done a great job, and I'm sure you can talk about the other 2 as well. But Margie will be missed.
Yeah, they've all impacted students, staff. Margie, every year, I don't know if you know this about her, sends out an email to all personnel inviting anybody who doesn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving to her house. She opens up her doors. And all of these teachers in some way or form have, again, impacted their students and the families in the community. So echo your sentiments that we wish them all the best and thank you for their service.
Absolutely. I know Mrs. Gorman and all the kids love her. She does a great job. So congratulations to them. All right. Any more questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to the audit contract.
All right, so before you, you have a memorandum of understanding that ultimately is a 3-year contract with our current auditors, Hawkins Ash CPAs. We discussed some of this, given the sensitive nature of negotiations in closed session last meeting. So we're hoping to, if you have any questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, I'm recommending that we approve this for an additional 3 years.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Hawkins Ash CPA contract for the additional 3 years.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. Motion carries. We don't have any executive session, so looking for a motion to close the meeting.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
All right, do roll call, please.
Here's your roll call out.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Jason.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Dale.
Yes.
Carolyn.
Yes.
Craig.
Here.
Jim.
Yes.
Crosby, yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Stephanie and I are going, she's just making sure that there are no other students who lost parents, because otherwise we have to consider doing something for all. Christy requested Jim.
You sent me? I don't have one from you.
Christy Youngblue.
Text or an email?
requested
I don't have one from you.
diploma instead of Vito, but we just want to make sure that there are no other kids that are in the same.
Maybe go hard then.
He's a really